Hey everybody, it's Christine up with the Scrap Room today using their Flavors of the Month kit, and today I'm going to be working with the Crate Paper Page kit from this month's kit. So I am starting things off using this really pretty polka dotted paper. It's got an off-white, almost light gray color to it, and so right now I am just adding some yellow, just using the packaging technique along with some distress oxides to create just more of a splash in the background, so that it's not all that color. And this is a really easy technique to employ. All I do is just put a little bit of ink onto my packaging, add a little bit of water, and then I just smear it around and put it right onto it. It is not foolproof, and it is definitely not for you if you like things to be just so and go exactly where you want them to. This is one of those techniques that turns out really cool, but you have to be prepared that it may take on a slightly different look than you expect. You also have to be able to give it some dry time because it does take some time to dry, and sometimes the paper warps a little bit. You can put down gesso to help with that, or you can add another layer of paper underneath it to strengthen it. In this case, I had a little bit of warping, so I did add an extra layer of cardstock underneath. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this really big cut file that says 2018, and I'm going to back it with some of the patterned papers in this collection. I really liked a lot of the patterns in this, and so when it came down to deciding, I decided that I would go with a cut file so that I could include a little bit more than I would have been able to otherwise. I am going to pop all of the 2018 up using some crafty foam tape from Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L. And I am, as you can see right here, this is where I'm securing the paper onto an additional sheet of cardstock just to smooth it out and strengthen it a little bit, just because that water does weaken it some. Like I said, it's not necessarily a foolproof technique, but it's a really cool one, and you just figure out ways to make it work if it's something you like to do and enjoy. So carrying on, you can see I've secured on the 2018, and you can see that's really a giant focal point within my layout. The next thing I'm going to do is bring in my 3 pictures, and you can see how nicely the colors coordinate with this. I've got on the pink shirt, my son's got on a blue shirt, and that is why I wanted to include specifically those 2 patterned papers, because I knew they would go well with the pictures. Now, the pictures are varying in size, so I'm going to stagger them, and I'm going to also pop those up. So right now what I'm trying to do is create a cluster with my pictures, and then I'm going to get them all hooked together and put them all on as one unit. This is a technique that I've seen done quite a bit, especially with people who do multi-photo layouts, and it's one that I've been employing more lately just because a lot of times there's some overlap when you want to add on multiple photos. And so this is a good way to make sure that the overlap stays the way you want it to and get it on there well. Once again, I'm securing it with some crafty foam tape. I love crafty foam tape for big and long pieces that I want to pop up rather than have to pull all the little individual squares or circles off. Just speeds things up quite a bit. Now comes the fun part of embellishing, and as you can see, I've already got a lot going on this layout, so I'm not going to need to do a whole lot more. I do want to add the word epic on there because this is pictures. These pictures are from what my son and I call our epic bike ride that we do each year, where we try and go a really long, crazy distance and just have a fun day together. So I need epic to be on there somewhere, but not quite sure exactly where that's going to fit. The next thing I'm going to incorporate is just some circles from the patterned paper. Now, I think these are meant to resemble flowers. However, to me, they also kind of look like bike wheels. And so I felt like I could make them really roll on this layout. I thought they would work really well for a biking layout. And, we're outdoors, of course, too, so the flower part does definitely work. But what I'm doing is I'm just going around and cutting them out, and then I'm trimming along the spokes, if you will, in several parts so that they add a little bit of dimension to the whole thing. Now, this whole sheet was full of those circles, and they are so pretty, so many pretty colors, and so I was excited to be able to use them in a little bit of a less traditional way than just making them a background or whatever. Now you can see I am adding those above, below, to the side of my picture, just creating kind of a cascade going down the page. And some of them I'm popping up, some of them I'm not, some of them I'm pulling the flaps up, some of them I'm not. Just creating a lot of texture and dimension on that side of the page, as well as bringing those colors over from the left side of the layout onto the right side. Finally, I'm going to pull out some yellow cardstock and I'm going to adhere my word epic onto that and create a banner to go onto the layout. I'm not going to use any special measuring tools or anything like that. I'm just going to get it on there and then I'm going to just trim the banner myself. Of course, you can certainly use a cut file or a punch or a metal die cut. Any of those will work. I didn't have any that would work. They were all too small for my situation, so I just did it myself. And I am going to then add it there just above those circles and below my pictures. And I like the way it brings that yellow in front of the pictures there, because there isn't a lot of yellow in the pictures themselves, at least not the yellow that I'm using. So there you have it. Very simple layout. There's not a lot to it, but there is lots of pattern paper involved and lots of color and some fun cut files. So thank you so much for joining me today. Be sure to head on over to the Scrap Room and check out this month's kits and get your hands on them if you haven't already. We'll see you again next time.